Before we get into Overreaction Monday, I just want to thank each and every one of you who joined me on my watch party yesterday as we took down the Bills in Week 5. We had over 40,000 people join us on that live show. We gained over 380 subs, and we're going to keep this train rolling. We passed 18,000 subscribers. Let's get to 19, and let's get to 20K subscribers. Thank you to everyone who hit that sub button. If you haven't already, I'm Jeremy Chuggs here on Texans Today. We bring you Texans rumors on the daily, and we're going to have a lot more live shows to come for more watch parties. So join the wave, hit that sub button, and let's get into today's show. A little Overreaction Monday after the Texans 23-20, just thrilling roller coaster of a ride Week 5 game over the Buffalo Bills. If you look at the box score, it would be very confusing because Josh Allen, if you're saying, if I told you at the beginning of last week, Josh Allen's stat line, 9 of 30, 131 yards and 1 touchdown, you'd be like, the Texans won by 40, right? Yeah, you would think so, but there were some problems in the second half, some turnovers, this, that, and the other. At the end of the day, the Texans got the dub. The Texans, they're not winning pretty, but at least they are winning. And here are my overreactions going into this week after that Buffalo Bills game. We're going to be talking about the injuries. Nico Collins, Joe Mixon, all those guys. Should we be panicking over all the injuries stacking up on this Texans team? Also, Bobby Slowik, has he gotten worse this season? I mean, he was a head coach candidate in the offseason. Has he kind of just totally fallen off the rails? We'll discuss him on today's show. And is this next week up against the Patriots a trap game? I'll break down all those on today's show. And I know you're like, Jeremy, we just won. Why all the negativity? Why are you talking about Bobby Slowik getting worse? Why are we talking about all the injuries? Hey, I know, that's my job. We got to break down the latest around the Houston Texans, but don't get it twisted. I still got that 4-1 feeling. I still am loving these dubs stacking up for the Houston Texans. If you're proud of this team, if you're happy that the Texans are 4-1 and they're atop the AFC South pretty comfortably right now, go down and spam those H's in the comment section. It's a victory Monday after all. Go out there, get loud, get proud, wear your Texans gear, and know that the Texans are running the AFC South right now. Go down and spam those H's. First up, should we be panicking over all of these Texans injuries piling up? I'm going to give it one Toro head, just a small shred of truth, just a little bit. But when I look at it, I'm actually the opposite. I'm saying I'm feeling good about the injury report, and I'm feeling good about where the Texans are in the injury department going into Week 6. Because, I mean, we have these guys possibly returning this week. Christian Harris, Kurt Hinish, Jeff Okudah, all available to return off of IR this week. So could get a influx of guys on your defensive side of the football with a defense that's already been looking pretty good to start the season. And then this coming in from Aaron Wilson this morning, there's optimism that wide receiver Nico Collins and offensive tackle Tytus Howard, their hamstring injuries are short-term and could be back as soon as this week up against the Patriots. Both those guys are considered, I know you've heard kind of the terms week to week. They're considered day to day. So take that with what you will, but it's looking positive on those two guys to possibly play this week up against the Patriots. Joe Mixon as well could possibly return this week. I think they're just playing it safe with Mixon and playing the long game with him to start off the season and making sure that he's okay to return. And then past all the injuries, after this week, you also get back Nico Collins, one of your premier signings in free agency this offseason. He can return in Week 7. So you have a lot of guys who are, coming back at the right time. We always knew the Texans, the start of their season was going to be the easiest portion of their season. And I think the Texans are playing it smart. They're playing the long game here because with a tough road towards the back end of your schedule, you want to be healthy at that point. You want to be healthy going into the playoffs. It doesn't matter if you're, playing guys injured right now and they're, gutting through those injuries right now, because these are the games that you should win. These are the games that are going to be the easier ones on your schedule. Once we get into the later part of the year when you play the Ravens, the Chiefs, I know the Jets haven't looked good, but Aaron Rodgers in a primetime game, those are the games where you're like, hey, We need our stars. We need our firepower to win those type of games. So for right now, I'm just giving it one Toro head. Next up, Bobby Slowik. Has he gotten worse? Oh, this is tough. The Texans Twitter is split on this 100% whether or not Bobby Slowik is the guy at OC. I'll give you my thoughts in just a moment. But first, I got to tell you about our sponsor, Game Time. There's nothing like watching live sporting events in this world. I'll tell you that right now. Sharing those moments with friends and family is amazing, and I still remember going to my first Texans game, and that's why you need to start making memories today with the Game Time app. It's an amazing app because you can get tickets to any events, not even sporting events. You can also go to comedy shows, concerts, theater, and more with just a few taps. You can see the views from your seats, and you get the lowest price guarantee. If you can find a ticket in the same section, in the same row of an event that you already bought a ticket for cheaper, Game Time is going to give you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time today, and they have a new feature called Game Time Picks. It basically filters out all the fluff and gives you the very best deals, so you know you're getting the best bang for your buck each and every time you use the Game Time app. Go download the Game Time app today and create an account. Use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Download Game Time today. What time is it? It's game time. Now, Bobby Slowik, has he gotten worse? I know it seems like I'm kind of, riding the fence on both sides, but I'm going to give it 2 Toro heads because there's a lot of factors that go into this. Yes, I think the offense has not looked as good as it did last year at points, but I think offenses across the board this year have been worse. Teams are taking away a lot more of the long ball with that too high safety look that a lot of teams are implementing this season. But the part that worries me the most is that Slowik hasn't looked comfortable making adjustments in games this season. That has been his biggest, Achilles heel, his biggest crux for this season with this Texans offense. And before I get into, exactly what I think is wrong with this Texans offense right now, I want to hear from you folks at home. Grade Bobby Slowik's play calling this season. Be honest, pull out your red pens and give your paper to the person on the right. Now, give me an A, B, C, D, or F. What would you give Bobby Slowik's play calling this season? If you get hit with a YouTube ad break, perfect timing. Just go down and give me your answer for Bobby Slowik's play calling this season. I'll give him a B-. I don't think he's been awful, as people say, that people are, oh my God, Bobby Slowik is just this horrendous play caller, has no idea what he's talking about. No. If you truly think that, then you haven't been watching the games and you don't know ball, because Bobby Slowik is a good play caller. But there's 3 things that are really messing up this offense. The first 2 really don't have much to do with him. The first one is the penalties. They entirely mess up the rhythm of this offense on really crucial drives. I mean, whenever guys get holding penalties, whenever guys get false starts, and granted, it was much better yesterday. The false start king, Laremy Tunsil, has looked like he's changed his ways, did not get penalized yesterday up against the Buffalo Bills, but it still seems to be the problem. I mean, when things were getting bad yesterday in the game, remember, 0 penalties in the first half. The second half, when things kind of slowed down, the penalties started racking up for this Texans offense. Number 2, the O-line just can't run block. I don't know what else to say. From watching the game and watching highlights again last night, whenever I was watching, I was like, hey, what is really wrong? There was a couple plays where Texans running backs had a couple open lanes, but for the most part, the interior offensive lineman cannot get to the second level. And as a former offensive lineman, I know if you're a center or a guard, on a run play, on a zone-style run play, especially on those stretch runs to the right, you're trying to combo block, and either the center or the guard is trying to go up to the next level and, wall off the linebacker. That's not happening on this Texans offensive line. They're not getting to the second level. They're not able to stop the linebacker from shooting the gaps and taking down our running backs at the line of scrimmage. That's not happening for this Texans offensive line right now. And I don't know if it's something that the offensive line coach needs to fix, or if this Texans offensive line needs some changes on the interior. But Kenyon Green, Juice Scruggs, Shaq Mason, they're not working in cohesion right now. They need to figure it out. And this last part, maybe this is part where I'm like, maybe it's a little bit on Bobby Slowik. Way too many 3rd and longs. The play calling on 2nd and 10 should not be a, draw up the middle that more often than not for this season, for this Texans team, has gotten you 2 yards. And then where? You're at 3rd and 8. You need better play calling and setting your offense up for better situations to get 3rd and manageable. There has been way too many 3rd and longs. And I know it kind of goes a little bit back to this first point where you're having a lot of penalties, but the 3rd and longs, the play calling on 2nd and long has not been there for Bobby Slowik this season, especially in the second half of games whenever he needs to make adjustments. I think that's a big thing for Bobby Slowik for the rest of the season. Can he make adjustments in big games, and can he help this offense win big games throughout the rest of the season? I think that I'm not out on Slowik, but he's definitely, on my radar. He needs to, pick things back up. Lastly, this is a trap game up against the New England Patriots. You bet your bottom dollar it's a trap game for Toro heads. It is if you know what a trap game is, it's basically you're looking past this game because you think it's an easy win. You think that you're going to get an easy dub, and you're looking forward to next week, and you don't even pay attention to your opponent this week. I could 1,000% see the Texans doing that. And there's this nugget from Adam Schefter. A QB change could be coming to New England with rookie first-round pick Drake Maye potentially getting his first start up against the Texans this Sunday. So you have a team that's kind of down and out with the New England Patriots. They've kind of been in the, gutters. They're looking for a bounce-back game. The Texans, they're looking forward to possibly next week. They're like, hey, the Patriots, they've only won 1 game. You're going to Lambeau the week after. You're like, oh, that's a much bigger game. That's a much, that's a much more affordable opponent, I would say. I don't even know what to say from the Packers or the Patriots, but I mean, you can't overlook this team. The defense is still talented in its own right, and you have a rookie quarterback that, to be honest, you don't have a lot of preparation for. I mean, yes, you'll be able to, look back on some film, but you haven't seen a ton of this Patriots offense with Drake Maye. You saw a couple drives in that Thursday night football game, and then you've seen some of him in the preseason, but overall, you don't know what this Patriots offense looks like with a Drake Maye right now. So you can't overlook this opportunity to go 5-1 this week and look forward to the Green Bay Packers and going to Lambeau Field. You got to get that dub this week up against the Patriots, and you got to take care of business, because if you can go 5-1 to start the season, you are looking very pretty towards the end of this year when it comes to, securing your playoff spot, securing that AFC South championship a little early, and making it where you don't have to stress out week 16, week 17, week 18 later on in the season. That's all I have for you on today's show, folks. Reminder, you can hit me up on social media to continue the conversation. You can follow me on X at Jeremy Chuggs, my brand new IG page at Texans Today CS, or if you're one of the hip kids, go follow me on TikTok over at Jeremy Chuggs.